see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rum Regret podcast. I am Andy Drake.
Johanna Myers.
Nate Tussey, and we drink and we know things.
Happy Slurpee Day, everybody. Free Slurpee Day.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah. There's still time.
Dude, there's a 7-Eleven down the street.
There's a 7-Eleven getting off the freeway.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll be right back.
Let's all go to the lobby. All right.
Oh, God.
What? Today I think we're general casting. So who wants to start it off?
Don't everybody raise their hand at once.
Hey, I'll go for it.
Okay, Johanna Myers, start us off. What's happening in your world?
In my world is comprised of Neil Gaiman, Mario Maker, and Big Little Lies.
Excellent.
And also and Black Mirror. I finished Black Mirror finally,
Nice.
guys.
So you've watched all the seasons now?
All of the seasons. I saw the
Bandersnatch.
and I saw the Nine Inch Nails Miley Cyrus one. Which
Yes.
Oh, shit, I haven't seen those two yet. I forgot. I only saw the Striking Vipers.
Oh God, dude! So yeah.
The Ready. Fuck.
Yeah.
Which sorry guys for that.
God damn it.
No, that was amazing.
I remember like texting both of you like Striking Vipers. And they're like, oh, this just went really weird.
And the show is at a new low.
No, that was great. I just even through your typing, I could see your face.
God, it was so good.
And the different levels of, just wait for it. Just wait for it. And that was great. I think we need to do, I would love for Nate to catch up on season 5 Black Mirror and then just do a Black Mirror cast.
Yeah, we definitely need to do a full.
Yeah.
Yeah, I streamed the hell out of the last two because season 3 and 4 were amazing, basically start to finish.
Yeah.
I streamed the hell out of those. I got to Striking Vipers, and for some reason I didn't go back. I think I got distracted. It wasn't that I didn't like the episode. I got distracted by something else, and then I forgot to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just need to get those two out of the way.
Okay. Excellent. So you've pulled yourself away from Mario Maker, Joe?
Yeah, I'm still among the living. I haven't assimilated into Nintendo Switch, but seriously, I'm not even kidding you. They made it so it like there's an endless play where it just keeps feeding you levels based. Like you can pick like easy, medium, hard, and it just keeps feeding player-made levels until you get killed. So it's endless Mario. It's so good.
Oh wow. How does it compare to the first Mario Maker?
Oh man, so good.
Yeah.
The cool thing with the Switch is like, so you obviously can play it on your TV, but when you actually make the levels, you can use the touch screen on the Switch, and it makes it super easy. Just to
nice. Instead of having to
you can basically just draw Mario levels on the screen.
No way.
Yeah, I actually had that game pre-ordered because I wanted Addie to try it, and then I realized that would probably be the worst thing I could do if I didn't want her doing it all the time. So
yeah.
I figured I'd let it settle down price-wise, and maybe we'll pick it up after she's re-engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even gonna lie, I spent one solid day, like at least 8 hours playing Mario, and
That's successful.
like
Awesome.
this is what's happening. It's a day off.
That was my 4th of July with Stranger Things. Addie got picked up at 9:30. I binge watched the entire season and left to Cam's barbecue thing at like 6. It was amazing.
Nice. Yeah, we're...
I haven't seen Stranger Things, just FYI.
Okay, yeah, we're... Wait, any of them?
season.
Just the season.
Just season 2.
Oh, okay, all right.
1 and 2, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just haven't seen any of this season. So.
Well, I won't spoil it. I'll let you finish up with your list.
Okay, yeah, and we're only on episode 2 right now, so.
Yeah. So between that and binge watching, dude, Good Omens. I've watched the whole season like 3 times already.
Jesus,
it's
Joe.
so good.
That's how I have.
I love it so much. It's so good, and I'm so excited because like, dude, now is the time for Neil Gaiman. Like,
Sandman.
Yeah,
Good
Sandman coming out.
Sandman, American Gods. Like,
I was prepping for this, listening to Kevin Smith talking about Sandman,
yeah.
and getting so hyped for it that I'm like, I think I kind of want to read all of it now.
You should.
Like, it sounds amazing. And that digital thing that you sent, that you're like, that's digital. Like, I might have to do that.
Well, I also did I send you the link where you can read it for free?
No.
Okay, I'll send that to you.
Oh, yeah.
There's no, I did send you that. The Read Comics Online.
Oh, is that on the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll check
So
it out.
you can read the whole thing online for free.
Right on.
But
Nice.
like I was nervous about Sandman coming to any kind of media until I saw how they treated Good Omens.
Yeah, and Netflix.
They
general.
nailed it, and
Good Omens is
so-
Amazon, though, right?
yeah, but I mean, still, just like a Good Omens
Yeah.
series, it was
Unrated.
perfect, freaking perfect. So I'm like, okay, if they're gonna do a Netflix series for Sandman, I'm on board with that. It's going to be awesome. And he's still my little god part.
Yeah, no, Jamie and I watched Good Omens and Tenet. I mean, both Tenet and Sheen, I think, were just both on another level.
Yeah.
They were. It was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, the performances individually were great, and then when they're in the same scenes together, it's just their facial features and how annoyed they look with each other, and just
Yeah.
little stuff.
It's so
It
funny.
was
It's
so
you
good.
can totally buy that these people, like these 2 characters, have been annoying each other
For
thousands of
millennia,
years.
yeah, exactly. Hey, didn't you used to have a flaming sword? Like,
Oh God, that gag was great.
No way. You what?
what? Yeah, that was good. That's one I could definitely watch again. I enjoyed it. It was kind of slow. It was a slow start for me. But then once you guys were raving about it even more, I went, okay. Back. And it wasn't very long either, right?
No, it's 6 episodes.
6 episodes, yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Easy peasy. And then surprisingly, a friend of mine who I trust implicitly, we have the exact same similar taste and everything, sat me down and was like, okay, you have to watch Big Little Lies. And I'm like, isn't that a chick show? And she's like, yeah, it's a chick show, but it's worth it. And
Okay.
Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon.
Zoe Kravitz, that too, right?
Yeah. And
Wow.
so I've been trying to figure out how to explain this. It's like a murder mystery marinated in a family drama and wrapped in rich Monterey white people film.
So it's like a carnitas burrito.
Yeah. But it's so good. I ended up binging the whole first season, like 6 episodes. I'm like, okay, play the next one. Play the next one. Like a feeder bar, just
Wow.
because the way the story is, they give you like little bits and pieces, and it makes you want. You gotta know what happened. You
Yeah.
have to know what happened. So I have to see the next one. I have to watch the next one. It's like
How many seasons?
killing me. It's once they're on the 2nd season, so
Okay.
that's playing right now.
Gotcha.
It's like
Okay.
5 episodes into the 2nd season.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the ads for it.
But it is actually really, really good. I highly recommend it.
I never would have thought just recommending Real Housewives of Monterey.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Huh. I have to watch something.
You heard it from me. It's worth it. And it's not just Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, of course.
There.
Okay, now it comes out.
What was his character in True Lies?
Or True Blood.
True Blood, not True Lies.
Vampire Eric, right?
Oh, yeah, Eric. That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
Northman.
dude, he's awesome in this, but in a very asshole-ish way. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Roger.
Okay.
Right on.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Okay. Nate, what's happening with you?
Well, first I want to get the spoiler alerts out of the way. Did you guys see fucking Endgame yet?
No,
They released it.
I did see Captain Marvel though.
Congratulations.
I still haven't seen Captain Marvel.
That was in March. It's fucking July. Our nerd podcast is going down.
Well, so our movie our movie viewing is regulated to Redbox, essentially. So
Right.
when if it's out on Redbox, you can guarantee that we've definitely seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, unless it's a kid-friendly movie, so we're all up on Toy Story.
I heard it was a good one. I didn't see it.
Okay, well, I mean, a total sidebar on it, but Toy Story 4, honestly, I mean, without, obviously you need to know the story going in of where these characters came from, but I feel like it's the best one.
Well, the last one was so dark.
Yeah, the last one was really dark, but this one at the end was, I mean, but the sort of the message through it all was really, really good. And but then just the ending, it hit you. I mean, it totally just sort of hit you in the face, and you're just like, oh damn, that's where they're going with this. And you're like, 90% of the theater is crying. All the kids are saying, "Mommy, Daddy, why are you crying?"
No.
So it's a fantastic. It really is one of the better movies that I've seen. Not just the best Toy Story movie I've seen.
Yeah. That's a good call. That's a good segue, actually, too. So that means you guys haven't seen Spider-Man yet.
That's correct. Yes.
So that, I won't spoil anything, but that for me is probably one of the best summer movies I've ever seen. Just the way they put it together. Performances are amazing. The set pieces are amazing. Everything about it's amazing. It's easily the best live action Spider-Man movie they've ever made.
Wow.
It's my second
Really?
favorite movie overall because I think it's Spider-Verse cheating. There's so much you can
I
do.
still
in that
haven't
medium.
seen that, and it's on Netflix. Like,
It's on Voodoo. It's on my list too. Watch it on your phone.
I need to
Oh my god, it's so good. That's my favorite Spider-Man movie, hands down. This is my favorite live action, and Tom Holland is my all-time favorite Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He fucking nails it. I will watch any Spider-Man thing that Tom Holland does. I mean, he did a great job in Infinity War,
Yeah.
and then he does an amazing job in Endgame. No spoilers there. He's just kick-ass as Spider-Man. Yeah, it's totally worth it. And if you can see it in the theater, do it because the scope of it is huge. I mean, Endgame scope is way bigger. That's a different animal, but for what it is and the way they do Jake Gyllenhaal, his performance with Mysterio, and just the visuals are fucking nuts. Addie absolutely loved it.
Okay.
Super juicy to see it. So yeah, we had a good time. I took her. It was last Wednesday. Whatever the day before, the 3rd, the day before 4th of July.
Oh yeah.
We closed the office early for the holiday, and I scooped her up early and took her to see it. It was totally worth it, and definitely go see it. It's amazing. And there's a really, once you've seen it, there's a really cool kind of touching hour-and-a-half video podcast of Kevin Smith talking about it. Because Kevin Smith is probably the biggest Mysterio fan ever. His jam, like it's his favorite character. And he talks about Stan Lee and Spider-Man, all that. It's really good. It's definitely worth watching his take on it. Awesome.
Okay.
The other thing on the next day, so that was the 3rd of July. The 4th of July, I talked to you guys earlier that I mentioned it on the podcast. I binge watched Stranger Things. I did say that. It was amazing. Great season. It might start a little bit slow, but it's totally worth it. It's only 8 episodes, I think. Way better than the second season, in my opinion. The first season is going to be my favorite, I think, always, just because of what it is.
Yeah.
It was this cool little lightning in a bottle nostalgia. I can just take with me in my pocket. We're gonna fight the Demogorgon. It was really well done. And what's crazy to me is how much these kids have grown from the first season to the third. And no spoilers here, they do some flashbacks, like the kids hanging out together. And you go from like gangly, preteens and stuff back to these like 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
Like it's like Harry Potter, like first season or first movie
Right.
versus
Yeah.
it's like holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy how much they change, but it's really good. And I think there's a bunch of cool stuff coming out of it where they're talking about the guy that plays the lifeguard. I think his name. One of the main characters. He's the older brother of the redhead, and and is the lifeguard. They have some visuals of him dressed up as Wolverine, like talking about when they reboot with the new people, like he'd be a cool Wolverine. And the visuals look pretty cool. I mean, he's definitely not yoked like freaking
Jackman.
Hugh
jacked man.
Huge.
Huge jacked man. Yeah, he definitely hasn't had the years to work on it like that, but it looks pretty cool with the hair and the cigar and everything. And they just did a really good job, I think, overall with that. It's so much better than the second season. What else? So I also watched Good Omens. Started off real slow, got through it. Got through it's the wrong word. Started off really slow, wasn't really into it, but because there's so much stuff on. But then I went back to it after Joe's raving review, and it's basically like, yes, we're gonna do this thing, and I absolutely love it.
Nice.
I kind of want to watch it again now, actually, because of all the other stuff I've ingested since then. I kind of forgot a few things. It's definitely easy to watch again, I think, for a second time. And then I'm also really interested in the Sandman thing, so I want to get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a cool little video game announcement. They announced a Switch Mini. Which is completely portable, like a 3DS crowd target. There's no Joy-Cons, there's no docking, all self-contained. The battery's supposed to last a lot longer. It's an interesting shot.
Yeah, which for me, like, I get the market of, just totally portable. Just to me, I'm like, I'd rather pay the extra $100 and have the versatility of, porting it to your TV and also having the take long.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think,
but the battery life is
battery life.
pretty shitty on the Switch. I have to.
Yeah, you have to go into it with a case that has battery, really. If you want to be fully
or be somewhere, or just have the cord with you.
Yeah, or have a battery bank or whatever. Yeah. I think they're definitely targeting 3DS crowd with this new one. Obviously, a little bit more expensive than 3DS, but you get so much more with it.
But like that's part of the thing that I love about the Switch is you can go from portable to the TV like effortlessly.
Yeah, it's amazing. I agree.
So when it's like Skyrim, I'm playing at home, and then oh shit, I gotta go somewhere. Take it with me.
Guess who's coming with me?
Yep.
Everything. Yeah.
Sigurd is coming with.
And I can't wait for them to make like a full-on D&D game in something like that. I will lose my entire life. They tried doing D&D online. They have a Neverwinter, which is a free-to-play on PlayStation, really action-y and not at all customizable like the tabletop game is. But if they can get that right, dude.
So what do you think about as soon as they announced the Lite, I know everybody was like, okay, where's the Switch Pro? So what does a Switch Pro in your eyes look like? Yeah,
I'm not really sure. I think it'd be interesting to see how that would work out. I think the Switch Pro has to have like a stylus, a bigger screen with smaller bezels. Like it's going to do all the things they've done with devices over the years. Battery has to be a lot better. It's going to have wireless charging, that kind of thing. They'll probably just throw every cell phone thing that they've perfected over the last decade onto it. I don't think there's any way that it gets any better as far as visually because it's such a battery hog. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get a 1080p screen on that little thing. I don't think there's any way they're going to do that just for the battery life. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. There's definitely, I think there's a market for it. And I know people that would pay more to have more, but what does more look like? Definitely a stylus, definitely something that you can, like expanded screen with smaller bezels, better controllers. The Joy-Cons are not very good.
Yeah.
What else? I think extended game libraries, Super NES, Dreamcast, like
Yeah.
all the stuff that they can get their hands on Dreamcast. What am I thinking?
Sega.
No,
Or no,
what was the other
no.
Nintendo? Super Nintendo, N64,
Or
36. No.
GameCube.
GameCube. Thank you. Jesus, like Dreamcast. That's the component.
Well, at the same time, though,
Yeah.
like, can we get Sega games on Nintendo?
Well, that's the
Like,
thing. If they could
Please,
actually,
can we make this happen?
Yeah, if
As,
they could
like,
actually
an
make
old
a-
school Sega fan.
well, what would make sense is they make a clearinghouse, just one source of truth where you can get any game you wanted to, and like the actual thing that runs that area gets a cut, the developers get a cut, the publishers get a cut, and it's just one stop for every game ever. How amazing would that be?
Would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's where the gaming industry is going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that eventually it's not going to be, it's not going to be a system specific game. It's just going to be out there in the cloud, and if you want to play it, you just log in and play it.
Yeah, everything's going to be streaming. I made a post on the Avid Gamer page today where it's, it sounds like PlayStation 5 is going to be amazing and the new Xbox will be great, but I can't wait for the next iteration, which everything's going to be just in the cloud, basically.
Yeah.
Because, like, I love the fact that, like, the Nintendo has the Nintendo Online where you get all the old school Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Like, my most favorite gaming thing was Sega, when they had the Sega, like, it was like the subscription.
Oh, Sega Channel.
Sega Channel.
Yeah.
Sega Channel was amazing. So I'm like, where's this, for like this generation Sega
Well, it's
Channel?
Netflix for video games, essentially.
Well, no, I'm saying specifically, where's
the literal Sega Channel?
Sega Channel? Like, I've got the Nintendo Channel now.
Yeah.
All, like, you have all the old school games.
Yeah.
So I guess you get ROM or, like, whatever. But
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Disney doesn't make a play or something like that. I know Amazon's working on a bunch of games. They just announced that they're going to be partnering with this team that's making an online free-to-play Lord of the Rings game. So that's going to be interesting. I'm excited. Hopefully they don't ruin that. But they're the ones that are bringing the Lord of the Rings show back to TV.
nice
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in the Mines of Moria for days.
Yeah.
And with all the talk of D&D and Lord of the Rings, that was the other thing that's been taking a lot of my time. More specifically, painting miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons. So a while, I think maybe it was 2 years ago, our the Landshark Motorcycle Club, shout out our PlayStation 4 gaming group that we've been running with since, I think it was before Vanilla Destiny. Maybe it was Vanilla Destiny we got together. So 5 years or so, something like that. I just completely lost my train of thought.
D&D.
D&D, thank you. Jesus Christ.
Painting miniatures.
So fried.
Sharks.
Yeah. And we're back.
Okay.
And go. This is where we'll cut. Gotta keep that in. So about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, our gaming group was talking about playing D&D again. 5e had come out a few years before that, so now they're in their 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. To put that in perspective, I started playing in 2nd edition in the 80s, so it's been around for a while. And this 5th edition has sold more copies than any edition before it. There's like 40 million known players in the world now, or in the U.S. now. I forget the stat they just threw out by Wizard Coast, but it's a really streamlined, easy to play, customizable, deep if you want it to be, but very easy and very attainable. Really low barrier to entry. And they have this really cool D&D Beyond presence online where you don't want to buy the books, you can buy everything digitally and you can access from any device anytime. Really cool. The character builders are amazing. You could run your character from a smartphone. You don't need all the pen and paper and all the books. The dice are still important. Obviously, that's the physical piece that never changes. Yeah. But then also there are these miniatures really making a huge comeback. And I've been painting like crazy. Something that's kind of replaced my video game wind down time, because things have been so hectic lately, just in general, that I found that painting the miniatures is a really kind of zen, very quiet if I want it to be, or I can have the game on in the background, Giants game or something like that. But it's not hyper stimulating like a video game. You're constantly doing feedback with a video game. And as
more creative.
Yeah, well, and as silly as it sounds, it's super zen, like cathartic thing where you're taking something that's just plain piece of plastic and you're kind of bringing it to life, and it's
which,
something.
like I saw pictures and all, seeing the live miniatures, they're super detailed. Like I gotta give you nuts on that one, dude.
It's so hard.
You're killing it, man.
No, they're not anywhere close to good. I'm doing better than I was. The problem, I did it the wrong way. I started out with the right intentions. I bought the How to Paint Starter Kit by Reaper, which basically gives you 13 paints, 2 brushes, and 3 miniatures of varying levels of difficulty. The first one is a skeleton archer. So all he is bones and a quiver and a bow. Yeah. That's it. And there's actually a really good illustrated book, color illustrated book. You flip through and they tell you how to do the different, now first you do the base coat. You do the wash, which is basically a very thin black paint that's mostly water, and it just gets into all the crevices, naturally brings shadow to it. So it makes it look a lot more detailed than it actually is. It's kind of cheating.
Which I was going to ask you how you got like the detail.
Yeah, it's really cool. So the wash actually uses gravity and finds the natural deep spots and recesses, so that turns into shadow. Right. Then you come back with the same color you painted the miniature before you washed it with, and you just touch the top parts of all these little ridges where you think the light would be hitting. And so it kind of gives you a natural light source. It's so much easier than once you have those instructions. But I decided to say fuck it, and I went for I'm going to make a custom D&D miniature off Hero Forge, and this is my Dragonborn Cleric with the giant flail and armor and all this billowing cloak, and it was so fucking hard. I must have spent 10 hours on this miniature just trying to get it to a decent spot. I kept fucking up and going back to it and fucking up. I really should have just gone through the steps, because now it's been a couple months since I started, and I am starting to get better at it. Still not anywhere close to some of these guys on Facebook are, because they're doing things like, hey, this ogre mage has a green crystal in his staff, and so that crystal, I'm going to paint it so it looks like it's a light source. They do amazingly well. And then they also use airbrush to show where the light is casting on the model, and it gets so good that you're like, they have a light pointed at that picture. They don't. It's just the way that they've done it. It's so intense. So I'll never get to that point. But anyway, back to the point that it's a really fun hobby. I tried to do it when I was younger. Back then, the miniatures were pewter, and I had a ton of them. I really wish I still had all that stuff from back in the day, because I know I spent a decent amount of money on it. But it's really fun, and I'm actually thinking about getting a 3D printer.
So my neighbor up the street, Austin, who comments on our stuff on Facebook, he runs a local game at the Archive Coffee Bar on the game nights. They do a game night every other Monday.
Nice.
And we were a while back. He has 4 kids, and we were. I had Xander, and we were in a McDonald's talking about gift ideas for our wives. And so I was scrolling through. I'm like, and there was all this really cool 3D printed stuff. And Austin's like, "Oh, I've been pricing 3D printers, right?" And so he gets all excited. And then, sure enough, 2 weeks later, he has a 3D printer. And he has been printing all of the miniatures for his game, for the D&D game he runs. He's been printing like little castles for part of the thing. And so he's just gone nuts on it. Yeah. And
you know what he bought?
I don't know exactly what he bought. He's posted a couple of things to his page, and I can show you those after the fact.
Yeah, send me a link. Share with me. I've been looking at it for a while. I can't really justify the cost right now, and there's 2 different versions. There's an FDM printer, which basically takes a spool of plastic and heats it through a nozzle and does layers like that. Or there's a printer, which will get way better detail, but resin toxic. So you can't really have that around small kids. That smells.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The detail's crazy. I know, like at work, we always get our models like resin printed. They're crazy, like
Yeah.
crazy detailed.
So the minis are great. The models are amazing. HeroForge.com is a crazy cool. It has a creator. Just go on there and fuck around. Like build a character. You can add swords and whatever race it is, different armor. And when it comes to you in a couple weeks, it's that thing. And it's amazing. It's totally worth it. It's like
Oh wow.
if you're gonna play one character
Is it
for
really
a long
like
time,
$20 just for? Because I saw
Yeah.
pictures of like your model that you got.
you
It
just
was
get. It's not colored though. It's just
But
plain
it
plastic.
was super detailed.
Super detailed. Yeah. And they do cast. I think they're cast models. Cast resin models. Not sure exactly what. Definitely not a 3D printer. They're casting model.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so with that, I've been back into D&D, and I think we talked about this before in the podcast, but last year, towards the end of last year, there's a local Rants and Raves page, Martinez, that has 14,000 plus members on it, something like that. So I randomly put on there, hey Rave, looking for any adults that want to get back into D&D kind of thing, and a couple people responded, I think maybe 10 or 12, and one of the guys that responded created the Diablo Valley Gamer meetup or something like that, and we started playing D&D. These guys had no idea how to play. I had actually bought the book a year before that because our online gaming group was talking about playing just completely digitally, and so I had been chomping at the bit. I had a backstory, I had a character I developed over a year, I had a figure I'd been painting. Like I was ready to go, and it's been really fun. That group, it's really hard to get together. I think we're at level 5 now, maybe, and we've been playing since November-ish. It's been really slow. We've only had maybe 4 or 5 sessions. But out of that group, one of the girls that plays there, her and her husband are in a group with her husband's brother who DMs a ton. He plays like 4 or 5 days a week. They invited me into their group that they had started playing right after our original group, and they're at like level 11. And so so this is my life right now, and I love it. This is why I need to find a girl that would be into this stuff, because I'm playing in 2 D&D games, I'm painting figures, I try to play video games if I have enough time. I have amazing time with my daughter, who I have half the time. I wish I could hear more, but obviously that's not the case. And then work is just a nightmare and crazy. But other than that, things are pretty fucking awesome. I can't believe I get a chance to podcast with you guys and play D&D and play video games once in a while. Like, yeah, in general, things are hard right now, but it's just hard because of the level of effort that's required and the amount of work to do. But other than that, things are pretty fucking sweet. It's cool to be able to play the game that it was my gateway drug into the world of fantasy. I had a neighbor across the street that was a couple years older than me. I was probably 7 or 8 maybe at the oldest. I moved out of that place when I was 8, so I must have been maybe 6 or 7. And he was probably 9, 8 or 9. He was a couple years ahead of me in school. And we hung out all the time, obviously, as kids across the street kind of thing would do, and got me into D&D. And then I started from there. I started reading all the Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms novels. Basically read the entire catalog over X number of years, and then got into Lord of the Rings, and then sci-fi, and then it was basically the big bang for the whole fantasy genre and sci-fi and that kind of stuff in general. So it's really fun the way things come full circle now that 42, it's 2019.
Yeah.
The 80s, second edition kind of thing, and
Getting back into your roots.
is most popular that it's ever been now, and that's because of things like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That first show really set it off in a way that that Matt Mercer and like Critical Role really couldn't have been as popular as it is without that show. They had started Critical Role before Stranger Things, but that popularity of all of these D&D podcasts and D&D, live casts and things like that really just exploded with the success of Stranger Things, and then bringing up Dungeons and Dragons again.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool time to live in, and I think in general we're really lucky as nerds that we suffered through a lot of hardships coming up and getting picked on and getting made fun of for what we're really into, but now everything we love is being made into amazing things. It's just so the juice is so fucking worth the squeeze. I just love it. Yeah.
Dude, on that note, Dark Crystal.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Man, like I caught so much crap as a kid for loving Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, and oh, you like David Bowie, you look like a girl, man. And now it's like all that, like you said, it's all coming full circle and back around. And yeah, we're in a nerdvana.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, nicely done.
Andy, what's up with you?
Yeah.
Well, and just to
Nerdvana. We need to trademark that. Sorry.
Yeah, but just to piggyback, well, first, actually, there is a Nerdvana podcast already, so somebody already has it.
So great though.
Yeah. But no, and I think one of us might have posted this on the Rum Regret page, or I might have just seen it in my normal Facebook, stalking. But it was one of the current. It was the list of one of the billboards at a movie theater that had Toy Story, Child's Play, Lion King, and something else. And it was all they were all basically nostalgia remakes.
Yeah,
or updates of, and it's like, hey, like this was last week, but I mean, you could have literally, walked back into the 90s and seen a similar movie anyway. It is a great time, to be, and we're sort of at that point in our lives where we haven't had to necessarily answer to anybody in a while. So in a way, we are allowed to sort of do what we want, the stuff that makes us happy. And it is, in this sort of information age right now, very easy to get access to a lot of things that we like. And, being in the sort of position that we are, is that a lot of people our age, not us, but a lot of people our age are able to make, a lot of the things that we loved growing up into games, into movies, into TV shows, and they're things that we liked when we were young, and we can re-experience them, and more importantly, introduce them to our kids, and just let them know, sort of how much this meant to us growing up. So, no, the time that we live in right now is fantastic. And I mean, last week at a barbecue, I was lightsaber fighting with my son.
Yeah.
I mean, and so they're, and they're, but but it ended with me cutting off his hand and throwing him down a chute, but it's all good. So anyway, a lot of what I have been doing focuses around sort of TV shows, and just sort of what I've been watching. There hasn't been a whole lot of extracurricular in my life right now, just because of how crazy it's been. But a lot of the things that have sort of flown under the radar that I think, just in terms of pop culture and whatnot, first and foremost for me, that sort of has had the most impact on me anyway, in terms of what I'm watching, is Cobra Kai, the YouTube series on the continuation of the Karate Kid. So season 2 just came out. And there's, naturally, some season 2s of shows that start off really, really strong, get stronger. Some sort of fizzle and don't really deliver that much. This one absolutely went stronger. The writing is so much on point, and they do their best on throwing the themes back to the original movie and referencing little points in the trilogy, but they apply it to what's going on around them now. And I don't want to spoil it for you guys, just because you really got to watch it to take it in. I don't know, like Joe, I don't know if the Karate Kid had any impact on you growing up. Did it?
Just throwing lines out like, sweep the leg, Johnny.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
A profound impact, but
it impacted me in a huge way. I was on mercilessly at that age. My parents put me in Aikido. They didn't like that karate was too violent, so I they put me in Aikido, which is all about defense and using your opponent's momentum and inertia against them and that kind of thing.
Right.
I wish I had with it, but it had a huge effect on me. I don't know how many hours I practiced spring kick.
Yeah. So, like I said, and this is something that I think you would really enjoy. But I mean, you really just even need to know the original movie. You don't need a really good sort of you don't need to love it. You just need to know the general story, and you'll get sort of what's going on. And like I said, they do just a really good job at bringing it back to some of the themes that happened in the original movie. And it's great that they just have access to all of the film footage and everything. And so when a character pops up that is just sort of random out of the blue, they'll cut back to when this guy was introduced. And if it was movie 1, movie 2, you get that little thing. And it's just really good writing. And, there's no clear-cut sort of good guy, bad guy here. It's just all sort of, I feel like what's happening here could be happening down the street from me, and there's just no, it just seems, I don't know. It's just one of the best shows out there. That's all I wanted to, yeah.
I wanted to engage with that show for a long time. You've been raving about it for a long time, and I listened to a lot of Kevin Smith's podcasts and Joe Rogan and a bunch of other people raving about it. But what a great job they've done, kind of getting the nostalgia there, but also bringing it forward and making it contemporary and just delivering an amazing show. So I'm totally on board. I need to get a chance to watch it. Yeah.
The second show, and I think we talked about this a little. I don't know that we have or not, but Umbrella Academy. We finally watched that.
It's so good, Joe.
It's such an incredible show.
So good.
Yeah. God, the kid that plays 4 is so good.
He's such a little shit.
I know. He's so amazing. But yeah, Joe, when you get a chance, when you come up from your Big Little Lies in Mario Maker, give that
definitely on the list.
Yeah, give that show a chance because you will fly through it just because it's so good.
Yeah.
On that note, and Jessica Jones season 3, probably one of the strongest seasons of a show that I've seen. And it just
Jessica Jones at all. So.
That's a tragedy. They canceled it, right?
Well, yeah. So, and this is in the wake of the sort of the Disney streaming service and the Marvel picking up everything, and it's just, but it did have a very fitting ending for not coming back in its form. It dealt with a lot of stuff that superhero shows don't necessarily deal with, especially sort of the anti-hero storyline, where you're given sort of that almost impossible decision that there's no right decision and there's going to be consequences regardless. But I know that sort of trope seems to happen quite a bit, but for some reason the way it was done in Jessica Jones it just seemed a little more poignant and a little more, they really built up to it a lot. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. Just as soon as it was over, it was just like, well, damn, we're not going to get another season of this, which is terrible. On that note, and while this is the time of Gaiman, American Gods season 2, a little disappointing.
Really?
I didn't get to watch it.
Yeah,
I saw the first season. I haven't seen the second one yet.
First season was great.
Yeah, first season was amazing. The second season and I don't know if it was me, if it was my state of mind at the time, if it was or Fuller's involvement, but
Fuller made the first season and he wasn't in the second season. So
yeah, and so it just seemed a little jumbled from where they were trying to go. Don't get me wrong, there are some great visuals. Again, the acting is on point, but I just think the storyline for this season was a little weak. But yeah, it was just sort of there. It didn't really do anything. It didn't really do anything for me or blew me away in sort of the way that Jessica Jones season 3 and Umbrella Academy and Cobra Kai have. On that note, that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been adjusting a lot of TV.
You been watching Krypton?
Our sort of method for the shows now is that we are sort of waiting. We're waiting for them to stock up and sort of binge them all in one big block. So we're waiting for Krypton to end before we get into it. But they are stockpiling on the DVR, and we are definitely. That was one of the shows last year that I thought ended very, very strong from where it started. Yeah, and we're gonna get through Stranger Things. We're on episode 2 right now. And as soon as Stranger Things is done, I think Krypton's next on the list.
Yeah, we almost need like a nerd spreadsheet of things that are coming and
Right.
try and plan out your nerd viewing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched Krypton at all. I didn't finish the last season. I kind of fell off of it. But I definitely want to go back. I don't think I even saw Brainiac.
Oh, yeah.
I think I only made it about halfway through it.
No, they finished very, very strong. They tease Doomsday a little bit. They bring, and I don't want to spoil it if you're going to watch it, but watch it. It's so good. And it's totally worth it. You will not be disappointed.
Is it okay for kids, or does it get a little too dark?
I don't think it's that dark.
You've seen Avengers, Infinity War, and
you're gonna be fine. Yeah, Addie can watch it.
Watches Supergirl and The Flash. So
yeah, it's no different than any of those shows.
Okay. Yeah, we had to stop watching Arrow because that got real dark and very.
Yeah. Although I am excited for Arrow's last season, where they're going with it.
I'm just excited to watch the main computer lady time that show's on.
Oh yeah.
Whatever her name is. I used to know it. And she's done a couple crossovers.
I'm sorry, who was it?
His main tech person.
Oh, Felicity Smoke. Yeah, actually she wrapped. She's off the show.
I know, I heard about that, but
yeah.
She's a super hippie too. Following her on like Instagram to Burning Man and all that.
Yeah, all right, so however though, they introduced so there were two sort of big story arcs last season in Arrow, and one of them was a time jump forward, and they introduced their daughter, who is played by Kat McNamara, who she's been in other shows here and there, but they have her, but like so she's like just as badass and just as badass of a fighter as Oliver Queen is, and so they have given her just some amazing stunt sequences that if she is any part of the eighth and final season, the 10 episode wrap up to the crossover, I'm sold. I'm watching.
That's awesome. It's funny that the daughter thing after Flash did it.
Right. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. And and it was going concurrently. And you know what? I didn't even notice. But just because they were jumping forward in time, like they didn't bring her back into their timeline, which is what happened on Flash.
Oh right.
But,
okay.
Yeah. So they were actually 20 years in the future. Or 25 or something like that in the future. So you were getting two of these timelines.
Isn't there supposed to be a big crossover coming up too when the shows come back on?
So yeah, so what's happening is that Arrow is ending after the crossover. So they're piggybacking on last year's crossover where they brought in the Monitor and sort of the different the multiverse idea, and they're doing the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That's right.
Timeline.
Cool.
So we'll see because this has been what sort of Flash has been leading up to all these years as well. And I believe all of Arrow is going to sort of paint the path towards the crossover.
Nice. I feel like I need to reach out to Reggie again, get him up to speed.
Oh yeah, no, we should definitely try to get Reggie out if he can.
So he can come back on the show.
Yeah.
Cool. He was definitely a great guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right on. So something that kind of dovetails into that, not really, but related to a certain degree. Have you guys seen the previews for The Boys, that Amazon Prime original?
Oh yeah.
If I'll read it. The Boys is an irreverent take on what happens with superheroes who are as popular as celebrities, as influential as politicians, revered as gods, abuse their superpowers rather than use them for good. It's the powerless against the super powerful as the boys embark on a heroic quest to expose the truth about the Seven and their formidable backing. So it's basically what happens when heroes don't give a fuck and go bad.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing. Like the preview, there's a chick superhero getting she's basically straddling some guy's face, getting eaten out, and she orgasms, crushes her guy's head, her thighs.
Whoa!
Like it's insanely bloody and visceral, and
Dang.
you have to watch the preview. It looks amazing. Like this one guy is yelling at one of the superheroes who just grabs him and throws him into the air like a mile, and the guy lands on the ground. Like it's exactly what would happen if somebody that had superpowers didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Basically, kind of like
I'm intrigued.
kind of like Brightburn.
Which I haven't seen.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. We talked about that in the last one, or the one before that. I bet.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet either, and I definitely want to see it. But yeah, The Boys looks really good.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be. Well, it's obviously out of the theater now, but you didn't need a theater for that. It's really well done, especially for the budget they had.
Yeah.
So definitely watch that when it comes out. And I think Endgame comes out next month on digital. So it not even be that long.
So is it currently out now on the?
No, they re-released it last weekend.
Okay.
For like a weekend run.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny.
I was trying to figure out, like, can I go see it?
I know. I wanted to go see it again. I missed it. I don't know how I missed it.
I got pumped on Godzilla. I was super bummed.
I liked Godzilla.
Well, no. I went to go, like, I had a time slot where I was like, I can actually go and see a movie.
Right.
Godzilla, and the theater wasn't playing it. What? I'm like,
oh
no, that was fun. It was exactly what to expect. Yeah.
I mean, like, I hate to say this, and I will say this on record. I was way more excited to go see Godzilla than it, and I'm super pumped.
Well, that's okay, but the fact that you haven't seen Endgame, it's been forever.
Right.
You're killing me. Like, I've spoiled it twice to you guys, not intentionally.
Well, and the funny thing, though, is I haven't gotten any crazy spoilers.
Oh, my God. I was going to spoil the hell out of it today. If you guys want
Yeah. I've gotten two, but they're two that really don't.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's so much amazing shit that happens in that movie that if you guys haven't had that spoiled by now, it's a fucking miracle.
I kind of feel like it's either a miracle or...
So do not see Spider-Man until you've seen Endgame.
Right. Yeah.
Gigantic spoilers in that movie. Don't watch the previews or the trailers. None of that. Gigantic spoilers.
Which is like, I feel like I know what actually, like, know the spoiler that happens, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, I would have thought by now.
Yeah.
Because, like, when did Endgame come
out? Last 2 months ago?
2 months ago? Like, 2 months ago, I should be...
March, April, May, I think, right?
I should be able to write, like, a thesis on the
poster,
movie.
April 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right there. But yeah, so I should be able to write a thesis on this movie now based on the spoilers, but, like, I don't have any idea what happened.
There's so much awesome stuff that happened. So worth it. Something else that I had just added to my to-do list that you guys should watch if you have access to it. Alita Battle Angel.
That was good.
Oh yeah.
Anime that they made into a movie, and it has what's Christoph Waltz in it, and it's
I was hoping
it
that was going to
looks
be
so good. I saw it in IMAX. Who I saw it with? But I saw it in IMAX. It was fucking amazing. Because obviously the scope of the sound and all that. But it just came out on digital. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But it was only $20 for the Ultra HD 4K version, whatever. So I bought it.
Nice.
It's really good. So you guys are more than welcome to binge off that. It's really fun.
Dude, I'm stoked because I was hoping it was going to be good.
Yeah, good. Good.
Excellent.
On the horror movie front, The Perfection. It's really interesting and worth a watch. It's not exactly like it's weird. It just what you think it is when you go into it, it totally flips, and like there's a big like flip there, but it is actually worth the watch. So
Nice.
Joe's little horror movie.
Nice. All right.
Endgame releases on digital on July 30th.
Okay.
On August 13th. So
Okay.
I'm buying the Blu-ray because I have the Blu-ray of Infinity War.
Mm.
So I'm buying the 4K Blu-ray copy. But wait the 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. No. As soon as it hits the red box, you'll know we'll see it.
You guys should both see it as soon as you possibly can, and we got to do a goddamn podcast on it. I've been waiting.
Yeah. No. I agree.
Fucking April! You guys have no idea how blue balls I've had from Endgame spoilers. Especially talking to you guys about it, especially on this podcast.
Yeah.
Amazing. You'll love it.
Yeah. Nice.
They actually, well, never mind. I'll let it be. The one thing that is really cool with the re-release over the weekend, they added a couple scenes, I guess, that weren't in the movie at the end of the actual movie, and then they did a whole Stan Lee tribute where it's basically him talking and like all these cameos of him on set and him talking through like all the cool things.
Uh-huh.
It was at least 3 or 4 minutes long. I watched it this morning at work. Somebody snuck a phone into the screening on YouTube. I fucking teared up. Like first thing at work, I'm like.
Did he film his cameo for Endgame prior to death?
Yes, that was
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. We miss you.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. Anything else? Anything we missed?
I'm sure there's a lot we missed. It's been a while.
Oh, I watched the live action Dumbo.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Surprisingly, I did not cry.
I heard it was pretty fucking sad.
No,
not as sad as the-
No, not as sad as the original.
Okay.
Oh my god, I cried like
Yeah, the original was really bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not as sad, and also I'm kind of spoiler alert. They cut out the drum scene.
Of course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't cut it out. They retooled it.
Huh.
That was the whole reason I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the movie. I'm gonna go with it. Damn.
Oh,
The best part, they took it out.
Yeah.
you haven't seen Captain Marvel?
No.
On the damn Voodoo. Watch it.
All right,
Very good.
all right.
You can watch it.
Okay, so that's you know what, I think this is a good podcast topic for next time, all of the sort of like Disney's whatever reason for all these live action remakes.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, casting controversy, if we want to go there, of you know, of what's, I mean, well, we could talk sort of general casting controversies here and there, you know, for another podcast, because yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll if what we have to say would sort of saturate and you know carry a whole podcast, but I have a feeling that we could. But yeah, I don't. My whole thing on the Disney live action remake thing, I don't know that I need these.
No,
No.
not at all.
You
No.
know,
Especially after seeing Aladdin.
Oh, you saw Aladdin.
I have a 10-year-old daughter. Yes, I saw
right?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, unless I get like a live action.
It doesn't have Robin Williams. That's the problem.
Well,
Well, I know, but there's so many. Like he set the bar so high, and Will Smith tries to bite his lines so many times.
oh no,
It
no, no.
Fucking killed me.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Spoiler alert.
yeah.
They do some cool things to make it a little more progressive, which I won't spoil. But I think they really missed the mark where they could have made Jasmine the main character. If they wanted to really remake it
Yeah.
and like put it on its ear, especially given the Me Too movement, especially given the time we live in, it could have been a scathing, you know, like double entendre for the masses kind of thing.
Sure.
They do some great things in it, but they definitely could have gone on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm afraid of The Little Mermaid just because that was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up,
It is really good.
and I'm pretty much convinced they're gonna ruin it because they're gonna make it political or make it like it's already started.
They've already done that.
They've already
done that, and but I honestly, we should save this for another podcast because I could rant on this for at least 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Is this when the podcast breaks up?
right, yeah.
Don't ruin my Disney movies, God damn it! Just don't do it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to get into it.
But make me a live action Emperor's New Groove with John Goodman.
Jesus Christ. You're very specific.
I'm very specific. Please do that. If you're going to make a live action Disney movie.
Well, we'll end this on a positive note. The live action Mulan looks fucking amazing and is accurately cast with an Asian person playing Mulan.
Yeah, but do I need it?
But and then again,
do I need to see the same story live action?
Well, no, that's the thing is they're not doing all the songs. They're going to make it more of a serious movie, whatever.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be just the story.
just
as
leave
opposed
Disney
to
movies alone.
yeah.
Stop remaking them.
Oh,
Stop making sequels. Like I don't need Frozen '85.
well,
Like,
Frozen 2 is coming out, so pump the
I
brakes,
don't
lady.
need Toy Story.
Frozen 1 was good.
12. Like
I'm gonna go on record, and you can punch my man card if you want. But I like the first Frozen. Frozen 2 looks.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on, Andy, just let it go.
No, I gotta save it because
No, I'm gonna kill Megan.
If we weren't already drinking.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can't. I just can't. I can't.
And you can't even. And on that, thanks for listening, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know what you've been watching lately, what kind of games you're into, what kind of nerd stuff that we missed. And we'll catch you in the next one.